Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this alumni talk. Today, we're going to be talking with some alumni of Parallel 18, specifically from P18, different generations, for you to have an overview of their point of view of our program, their challenges, the things they liked, the things they don't liked, and everything related about the application process, the program, and their life after participating of P18 in this case. So welcome Nina Rodriguez, founder of Bossy. Welcome Jorge Caballero, founder of Pathbooks, and welcome Henry Keenan, founder of Red Atlas. First of all, I just want to remember everyone that is connected that we are on the application process until April 30. So we are seeing a lot of good applications coming on. So we are waiting, excited to see those applications finally get submitted. So remember, you have until April 30, 11:59 Puerto Rico time. So it's important for you to be able to submit that applications on time to be able to be considered for the program. And with that said, I would like to start a conversation, giving you the spotlight to present yourself and tell us a little bit about what is your startup and what your startup do. Nina.
So hi everyone, as Lisa said, my name is Nina Rodriguez Quiros. I'm the founder of Bossy. We're a platform from Puerto Rico that streamlines the creative workflow for executives and seasoned freelancers. We're kind of like a Match.com, but for work. Our technology basically takes care of creative projects from hiring to handoff.
Nice. Jorge, today is your birthday. Let me put this
Yay!
in the line so
Thank you.
everyone can give Jorge a warm hug from Puerto Rico and happy birthday. So now's your turn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Jorge Caballero. I'm from Mexico. I am a writer. I am the CEO of Pathbooks. In Pathbooks, we make kids and teens fall in love with reading. It's a reading platform, an interactive reading platform, and we are working with schools from different countries, and we have schools right now from Puerto Rico also.
Nice. And Henry, what about you?
Oh no.
I think you're muted, Henry.
Okay, sorry everyone. My name is Henry Keenan. I'm the founder and CEO of Red Atlas, and Red Atlas is the largest real estate data platform in Puerto Rico. And so basically, we take listing and property data from the government, and we mix it all together using AI that helps people understand the value of their properties better. We have very accurate valuations and find listings, things like that. And so we're from Puerto Rico, and love being here.
Awesome. So today we have representation from Mexico and from Puerto Rico. So it's important to mention that this program received founders from all over the world to participate. So that's important to always remember. So what motivated you to apply to P18? Nina was part of P18 Gen 11, right? And Jorge also, and Henry was part of Gen X or Gen 10. So I would like to know what specifically motivated you to apply to P18.
So is it like in order?
Whatever you feel.
I can start then. So in my case, I was a part of pre 11, pre 18, which is basically an pre-accelerator from Puerto Rico, and then having that experience and being able to learn a lot of our business, being able to launch an MVP and make sure that that would work in the environment that we were wanted to serve. Then I also wanted to have, in that case, I had like the vision of Puerto Rico, but I knew that P18 was an international accelerator, which allow us to have another vision as well in case of the international part, the mentorship as well, and thinking about how to export Puerto Rico, not only thinking that this is what's coming from here, but it's also a problem that needs to be solved in the freelance industry, right? In the whole world. So that would be said was one of the things that motivate us, the mentorship as well. The part of being able to be with other founders, the one that were suffering as much as we were suffering, but also would keep a smile on their faces, which is something that was really great. And then, of course, the part of the money where we can allow us to grow our technology as well.
Awesome. And you mentioned something very important. You mentioned the part about exporting. So in P18, the curriculum is more focused on the scalability potential of each startup. So it's really important. And thank you to mention that. So it's important for you when applying to be able to establish your scalability potential, because one of the main purposes of P18 is help you to think outside the box and to start exporting your goods if possible. And if you're already doing that, well, support you and give you an extra hand on that. So that's really important to mention. Jorge, what about you?
Yeah. For me, when I make the research about the program online, I see a lot of good things, a lot of good comments, and I make a couple of calls from friends who know about the program, and I received very good comments about that. And when I was there, I see that everything is true. The place is amazing. I always say this is a paradise. Puerto Rico is a paradise for me. It's la isla del encanto. And you receive investment and you receive very good mentorship also. And I see all that comments, and that's motivated me to apply, and everything is true.
Awesome. And you mentioned the part about paradise, and that's really important because, as we always mention, you need to move to Puerto Rico for 5 months for the duration of the program. So it's a completely in person program. But I guess that's not a bad thing because, as Jorge mentioned, you're going to be in a Caribbean island and you can work and have fun and be part of our culture that I'm sure you're going to like. So important to mention that also. And Henry, what about you?
Well, so our path was a bit different. I'd been living in Puerto Rico for a few years, and I didn't know how long I was going to be here. And I just quit my job, and I'd started this company. And fortunately, we got denied from our first Parallel 18 application. So definitely, if you get denied once, apply again. And for us, that was a good thing because the generation that we got into, the resources were much better. So we were thankful for that. But mostly, it's Puerto Rico is an amazing place to kind of test things, especially if you're between the U.S. and Latin America. And so if you're in Puerto Rico, if you're in the U.S., you're not going to be able to get a meeting with, the head of a large bank. But if you're in Puerto Rico, Parallel 18 can help you get that meeting, or with a government official, or with, your largest customers. And so that's kind of the nice thing about Puerto Rico is it's big enough to where you could have a business here that could sustain itself, but it's also small enough to where you can get access to the people. So that was our kind of we didn't know that going into Parallel 18, but that was kind of one of the biggest reasons, biggest helps, yeah, in the end.
Awesome. Two important things here that I would like to highlight. First, if you got rejected on the first try, you can always apply again. So we always encourage founders to apply, even though they think that maybe they are close, but they're not sure if they're ready or not. Just go through the process, fill out your application, and get used to filling this type of applications. Trust me, this will help you a lot in terms of getting to know your company. So we are receiving this question a lot. What if I apply and don't get accepted? The answer is don't worry. You can always apply again. So Henry mentioned his experience, and it's true. He got rejected the first time, but then he went again through a process and he got selected for Gen X. So that's important. And the other thing is the connections. As part of Parallel 18, we have Parallel 18 Connect program, and the mission of the program is basically to connect you to key players on your industry or in government or whatever you need. So that's really important, and that's one of the things that has more value of the program, the connections that we are available to do for you and to support you during the process. So that's also really important. In terms of the specific needs that you had when you applied to the program, can you tell us specific needs or the stage that you were on? For example, if you were looking for growth opportunities, you were looking for some type of capital raising or investments or mentorship, what were your specific needs with your startup when you applied to the program? Anyone?
Yeah, like everything. We as a founders, we need everything like mentorship, like funding, like sometimes like partners or companions who are making great things also, fighting for the dream. and this is also very helpful to see another people making great things. This is inspiring you also.
Nice.
I would say in our case, definitely the inspiration was something that we don't necessarily knew that it was going to happen. I think one of the great things about being able to speak with other people from other places is also seeing, like, for example, there was a company from Brazil and they have like 11 employees, and I felt like, okay, when I'm bigger, I'm gonna be like them. But then you would see Jorge with a smaller team, not necessarily as big as 11 people, but they were doing great as well. And that's also like, okay, in my case, it's like I'm a solo founder, so I am able to find other people that have to do with the mission as well, like asking, being able to understand what is something that when you're an employee that gets you to that point where you're like trying to feel as part of the company as well, because it's different from when you're working with a big company. So I
Yeah.
think that's something that we didn't necessarily understood that we needed, but we get there when we saw there were employees that feel like their company, they were a part of it as well. um, so I think in our case also it was getting ready to launch, and in that sense also taking a step back. We thought that, okay, we're ready to do this right now, and then with the mentorship we noticed that there's some other pieces that we need to make sure that we understand in order to scale as fast as we want to. And the great thing is that we're still standing, which is something that's really great. And that's another question, so I
Yes. No,
that's
but you
like,
mentioned something really important about the mentorship, and it's that during the program, you have the opportunity to let other people think for you in terms of your startup, because when we are so focused every day on working with the same thing with our startup every day, probably you're missing other points of view and some other points of view of experts in the industry or in the in the material that you are having the mentorships. So it's that's a lot of value that the program has in terms of letting someone expert think like you, and you will be surprised of the things that you can discover and achieve during the program just by doing that and being able to receive feedback and available to making changes if necessary. So yes. Henry, what about you? What were your needs?
Well, so it was a very interesting time for us because we were when I got into the program, everything was good, but then like a week later, our CTO said he wanted to go do a crypto startup, which in 2022 maybe not the best idea, but and so or it turned out to be really good though in the end for him. So these things work out, but we were going through like a very big like transition phase at the time, and so when that happened, we actually went to go acquire another company to for their CTO. They were going to go under, but they were much earlier than us in the AI stuff and valuations, and so it's going to make a lot of sense. And so all this was happening right when we were starting the Parallel 18 program, which was just a very strange time. And so basically parallel between the money that we got and having the office and having the stability and having, they were able to introduce us to a lawyer who could help us with an acquisition of a company in Colombia, which, there's not a lot of lawyers that can do that. And then there's not a lot that specialize in startups. So finding people like that is hard, and Parallel made that very easy. Um, and so between all those things, it made a kind of very stable position for us to do that transition in. And so we were able to acquire the company and integrate everyone together. And I don't think it would have been possible in a different situation. So not to be dramatic, but yeah.
And this is good that this came up, because here you can have a sense of a point of view of, we have companies on the same cohort with in different stages, and
mhm.
this is really important because first you have the opportunity of learning from your founders from other startups, and then we make sure that we can help with in no matter the stage that your company is, because we tailor the curriculum based on the programs on the startup, sorry, that we select. And we are doing the 20 weeks, we make sure that we, even though if you are acquiring another company, or if you're just starting to launch and you recently have your traction numbers and they're maybe lower because you just launched, we make sure that you have all the resources and the tools that you need depending on your stage. So that's really important. So how Parallel 18 help you accelerate the growth of your startup? remember, this is an acceleration program. So what we basically do is we try to accelerate your progress. Can you tell us an example of, or some information about how Parallel 18 help you in this acceleration journey during the program?
Well, I can go back to the last example real quick briefly because I think they're connected here. So when we did the acquisition, we were still very early stage in terms of product, and we had a lot of we had launched, but we had actually had a lot of work to do on the product. And so we had this acquisition coming in. It was going to take a year or more to integrate the two companies. And so how do we speed up that timeline, or how do we survive in the meantime? Because obviously, a year of cash that's as much as most companies have. And so what I didn't know going into the acquisition, but the lawyer that Parallel had introduced us to had set up our acquisition in such a way that we were able to claim tax credits on it through our Act 60. And so actually this is the biggest secret that nobody seems to know about Puerto Rico. And it's probably the only place in the world right now where you should start a tech startup because of these tax credits. And so if you have an Act 60 as a startup, half of what you spend in research and development, which if you're a tech startup, that's going to be all of your spending pretty much. You get a 50% R&D tax credit on, and then you can sell that for 95 cents on the dollar once they've been certified about a year later. And so in terms of accelerating us, because of the lawyer that we met through Parallel, we were able to take basically all of our spending because we'd gotten the Act 60. And you don't have to be from outside of Puerto Rico. You can be a Puerto Rican and have an Act 60 startup. I don't have a personal Act 60, but my company has one. That's another myth that people seem to not know.
Thank you to mention that. That's important. Yeah.
Yeah, and so especially if you're Puerto Rican, you should have this. And so we were able to basically find a bunch of cash in our pocket from that acquisition and from our past spending, and so we wouldn't have known about that or without Parallel, or it would have taken us more time. So.
Yeah, important to mention that Henry was part of Gen X, so the funding was higher due to the special edition that we made. But yeah, so it's the same thing, just different numbers. But yes, and you mentioned the thing about tax credits, and this is important not just in that topic, but in anything. Sometimes you are not aware of all the resources or the benefits that you can have, and it's our job during the program to make sure that you have all of those tools or all the information that you need to make that decision. So that's really important. What else? Any other information about how we as a program help you accelerating your company?
Okay, I can go ahead.
Ina?
You're shy today. I don't know why. So
I always
as I
shy.
said, as I said earlier, a startup has many pieces, right? So in our case, we were having we were growing, we understood everything, our clients were super happy, but we noticed that there was something else that was missing. I was basically on the operations. So we started seeing our data, taking a look at what we needed to in order to grow, and then having the KPIs meetings, which is something that we do weekly, was kind of like something that you were scared of at first, but then at the same time, whenever you get to that point when you said, okay, this is what I want to get, where I want to get, but then when you get there, it was really exciting. So it was somehow like a way of making sure that we were growing as we wanted. But then another part is that at midterms, they said, okay, so you're ready with this, let's do it even bigger. So it's something that when you think, okay, this is not possible, then you start asking people like, how are you doing this? How are you doing that part? And then asking the people in parallel as well. And then you notice that it's opportunity as well, like getting to be able to being in places where you can talk with other people as well, the networking, and then also having the parallel teams signature. We say, okay, this is a good company. When you say you were a part of P18, they say, okay, this is real. This is not a scam. So it gives you a way of connecting with people that you would never connect with before, because you have their backup as well.
Yes.
For us, for our company, Padbooks, we made something great for us. We are looking for a partner in Puerto Rico, and this was a great achievement for us, because thanks to Parallel, we closed a partnership with a big company in Puerto Rico who are helping us right now to enter to schools in Puerto Rico, and this is a great achievement for us. We are very happy for that, and for example, when we close the partnerships, we invite that persons to the office of Parallel, and oh, amazing offices, it's yours. Oh yeah, it's almost mine, but because it's big and beautiful the office, but all the ecosystem, all the what we have in Parallel, it help us to make that achievement, that goal.
Yes, two important things here. Nina mentioned the KPIs and the networking. And the KPIs is something that whenever we ask a startup that already passed through our programs, what's the most valuable thing or what's the thing that you kept with you after the program, a lot of them said the KPIs. Right now we get along with our team to every Monday and we do the KPIs just like we used to at Parallel. And that's really good because that way we are sure that we are giving you tools that you can keep using even though you're not going through an acceleration program. And the KPIs is something that if you get selected, you're going to be every Monday, you're going to be with your group of people, with your startup executive. You're going to be talking about your KPIs for the week. If you were able to complete your KPIs, if not, why, if you need any help from our end or anything like that. So that's really important because you keep track week by week. And trust me, it's really awesome and it feels good to see the KPIs from week 1 then compared to week 20, and you can see the growth. And for us as part of the Para 18 team, that's something that really we like to see those numbers because then we know and we can be sure that we are doing the right thing and that the startups are making this possible. Because of course we can give you all the information, but if you don't apply it, then it doesn't happen. So that's really important. And of course the networking that we are able to put in your hands as Parallel 18. We are really connected to the local ecosystem and to the international ecosystem, so we are always making sure that you have the forums necessary, the events, even if we create them, or industry events that we are always looking for. If it is giving you tickets to the event, trying or any discounts or spotlights to be able to present or showcase in different industry events. So we are always making sure of that, and that's really also important and very valuable for the program and of course for your acceleration during the program. We have a lot of open applications at the moment, and this is normal. This is completely normal. We have 7 days left to apply, and have a lot of open applications that are maybe like still working on it or considering hitting that submit button. What advice would you give to a startup that is still considering to apply or is not sure yet if they're going to submit the application or not? What specific advice would you give them having already the experience of participating to the program and of course going through the application process?
If you want to have a company that's based in the U.S. and if you like money, then apply. Those are like the big two things, and then but beyond that, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by like the office, the environment, the people, the quality of connections, all that stuff. So if you like those things, then no brainer. Yeah.
No brainer. Nice. What else?
I would say the application itself, it's one great thing about how to grow your business. Like when you start answering those questions, it's a way of understanding better your business. If you don't understand anything, it's like, let me take a break, let me try to understand it. And then if you're unsure about the application, maybe ask a friend, someone, a mentor, for them to take a look at it, if they understand everything or not. And then as it happened to Henry, that I didn't know that happened to Henry now, because we were a part of the pre-18 same generation, but then I was in the next one. So we also didn't get into it on Gen 10. So then we get in Gen 11, which I think it allowed us to prepare us as well. Like, okay, this is what we're missing right now. Even though you might not get feedback or anything, you would see it in your application, right? You would see, okay, this is where we were there then. Now we need to start answering these questions better. So don't let imposter syndrome to tell you no. Let the P18 team to say that yes or no, because it's gonna be a great opportunity. And instead of you feeling that you don't belong there, it's gonna feel like you have a community that's gonna support you, and that we miss a ton. So do it.
Yeah, just do it. As Henry said, equity free. Everyone loves equity free money. uh, but just do it. Just apply and you will love it.
Yes, that's, trust me, we are not the ones that make the final decision in terms of who enter to the program or not. We have a selection committee, but of course we read the applications. We know which companies are applying, and trust me, year by year, cohort by cohort, we always see people like applying again, and that's awesome because first, we know that you are really interested in the program. Second, we always see some differences in the application. So maybe you were not able to be selected because didn't meet the minimum requirements in terms of traction, but then the next year we see the numbers going up and stuff like that. So it's important for you to go to the process, and trust me, we are basically every year seeing those applications coming up, and we compare, trust me, to see what changed between one cohort to another. And even though we don't make the final decision, we are part of the selection committee, just giving an eye on it and making sure that everything is non-biased and following the guidelines. But when we see companies applying year by year, this doesn't mean that you're gonna get selected, because if you don't meet the requirements, then you're not gonna be selected. But it's good to see how the companies go through phases, and evolution, go to a journey, and then we compare and we see that. So it's important for you to just don't be shy, submit your application. If you have any doubts about it, always feel free to contact us to our email, to our social media platforms, and at the end, I'm gonna give you all of that information for you to have. So we always says, once a P18er, always a P18er. So we love to have a community of alumni that are always in touch with the program. This is an example of it. As soon as I contact you, each and every one of you, the answer was yes, right away. So that means a lot to us. So can you give us a sense of how Parallel 18 keeps supporting your startup, even though you already went to our programs or already completed them? Can you give any sense of how we continue to being part of your journey as a founder?
For me, one of the best things after the program is the community. The community from Parallel, from the staff of Parallel, we can asking for help, for advice, and the community for the friends, the other startups we met there. That's very very important.
Yeah, I would
What
say
else?
definitely the community and also the support, and then being able, at least I'm in Puerto Rico, so whenever you have an opportunity for that, you would say, "Hey Nina, there's this thing coming. Do you want to be a part of?" It's not necessarily like, "Hey Nina," but the whole community, they would tell you we have tickets for these events, and I even went to Brazil with one of the opportunities that Parallel had for South Summit. And then it was really, really, really nice that I get to meet another alumni from Brazil. I had the T-shirt of Parallel, and then when he saw me, he was like, "Are you a part of Parallel?" And he was super excited. And then we became friends just because we were also alumni. So that's something somehow how we keep together in this. And then the team as well. If I have a question about something that we maybe learn, I don't know, something on investment, for example, I can touch base to someone in the team and ask, "Hey, do you remember this person?" Or "Do you remember what we talked in this session?" or something. It's really, really cool. And then also becoming a mentor for new generations. It's also really, really a way of me being part of it. And then also when I became a mentor, I'm still learning and relearning things that I'm doing better. So that's something that's really keeping me really excited.
Awesome.
Uh, we ended up just staying in the office for like 2 years after, and we finally got kicked out when for the new office because it wasn't opened yet. But no, so like that was extremely valuable, and just also just hanging around that office, you meet really incredibly interesting people. are guys that figured out the tax credit stuff for us. We met at the office, and so without that, we wouldn't have known that we had all those credits in our pocket that we could sell them. We're working on a deal right now with the Science Trust, which operates Parallel 18 to potentially lease an office in the same building as well, and so they can give you a good deal on that kind of stuff. And so there's just tons and tons of opportunities where you should hanging around and staying in touch is extremely valuable.
Yes, you mentioned the thing about community, and that's really important to keep mentioning. As part of Paralelating any cohort, you have the opportunity of working from our offices. As Henry mentioned, we didn't kick you out because we wanted to. It's just that we just moved from our co-working space in Santurce to Coupé. It's also in the metro area, but it's basically a new building in the same space that our main organization, the Puerto Rico Science, Technology, and Research Trust, is located. So basically, if you get selected for Gen 12, you're going to be the first generation that's going to be present on the cohort, on the new cohort. So that's really important because that's a really good added value that we have. You have all the connections to the internet, you have the office space, you have conferences to attend with your meetings, your suppliers, your clients. So this is a really nice thing to mention, that's really an added value when you get selected, that you have basically your office, you can run it here in the cohort. Of course, when you're dealing to anything related to the startup that is part of the generation. So that's also really important. And of course, the sense of community. We like to party, we like to do stuff. When we have international cohorts, we always like to, for example, someday we ask everyone to bring something, maybe food related to your country, and we like basically share culture thing. And that's it gets really, really cool to be with different people from every different parts of the world. And it's really interesting to have that, because of course we want you to be working full time, but we also like for you to have fun, because that's really important for us also, that you can have those moments to enjoy, of course, being in Puerto Rico and being able to communicate and collaborate with other people. So let's start wrapping up, and I would like to know maybe your biggest lesson during the program, and now that you are a Paralating alumni, if you were able to say one thing that really was your biggest lesson and that you still carry around with you, that you can share with the founders that are interested in participating, what would it be? Nina.
I already kind of mentioned it. I would say you already have the know. That's something that I learned not only in my personal life, but also as a founder. Being a woman founder, also being, shy, kind of like, I don't want to get to that point. I don't want to start talking in front of people. And then noticing that even if it's horrible and you think you're not doing it the right way, you're going to become better and better. And if you don't start doing it, then you wouldn't be better. And this is something that Jorge taught me in a way that he was super critical, but I really loved the way he was like, "Hey, Nina, whenever you're by yourself, you're this cool person, but then you became like this. Hi, I'm Nina. My name is super robotic." And I know that the parallel team was super nice with me, and they were like, "Yeah, can you smile a little bit?" But then Jorge was like, "God, I'm killing you, man," and I really thank you for that, because I noticed that in my life when I was doing the networking, I didn't want to, reach out to someone and start talking. And then, as I said before, it's like I already had the know, right? So when I started being more like, and I'm not sure how to say this, but I became like, okay, I'm gonna do this like a man would do it. And then being like, okay, I would get to this person and say just hi. And then it's not something that I'm not saying you have to be like a man, but for them was easier. At least maybe they were extroverted or something. But in my case, I learned, okay, I already have the know, so I need to start doing it. It's something that, at least for Movement Founder, is something that I keep saying. You remember that you're really good. And an old mentor of mine told me once, just think that you are as good as a white melon. So if you have the, the steam of a wild male, an average wild male, you'll be better. So this is
You
more like for Women Founder, but Just
No, yeah,
to
but thank you to mention that because we always try for you to be confident in the process because Parallel Team's missions is to support underrepresented founders. So of course, being a female founder, it doesn't get easier. So it's we give you the tools, we give you the mentorship, we make sure that on demo day when you stand up in that stage, you are ready. Trust me that if you're not ready, we're gonna say, hey, you're not gonna present, not because we don't want you there, but because we want you to be able to give a really nice pitch presentation, and that you are able to get your people watching you and have those connections and stuff. So during the pitch practices before demo day, we just make sure that you are confident in what you're gonna say, having a good speech, having the all the things that you need to do to just basically have the spotlight and make it yours. And Nina is a really good example of that. We have been seeing her since pre-18, and trust me, in Gen 11 demo day, if you want to access that video, you can go to YouTube and you can go to Parallel 18 and access as the Gen 11 demo day, and of course the Gen X demo day, if you want to like kind of have sense of what we're talking about and what, if you get selected, you're going to be dealing with. And trust me, you're going to see what Nina is saying. And trust me, I have to say that it was one of the best speeches that we had during that demo day, and we have been seeing her transformation during the practice sessions and stuff of that. So basically, being confident will be your main the biggest lesson that you learn. So what about
thank
you,
you.
Jorge or Henry?
I'll add something. Before Paolo, I just had a thick accent, but now I became the Sofia Vergara of startups in Puerto Rico. It's something that someone in Parallel told me when I said I have a thick accent. I don't want to talk in English. Blah blah blah. But then she said you could be the Sofia Vergara of startups, and now whenever I have to talk in English, for me it's like I'm the Sofia Vergara of startups.
Of
So
course.
Yeah.
Well, I'll add on to that. If you're a white guy in Puerto Rico, a place like Parallel gives you the confidence of a Latino woman in terms of speaking. So
Like
it goes
that.
both ways, and you need both. So yeah.
Awesome. I like that. What about you, Jorge? Anything to add?
Many lessons I learned in parallel, but one important lesson is it's possible to accelerate your company for all the team. Maybe you are in the accelerator, in my case, and my other partner, Victor, but all the team accelerate because parallel gives you the structure, the ecosystem, the tools to accelerate your growth. And maybe this is the biggest lesson because it's possible to do it. You just need to work, be focused, be with good structure, and let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So basically, confident. We like to work with just confident people. You have your idea, you have your already your startup running, you know what you do, you know your industry. So let us help you in terms of being confident of what you have and what not just what you have now, but where you can get with that. And for sure, we're gonna do that in P18. So this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you for making this possible in terms of we can always say how amazing paralysing is, but for sure we work here and we know that. But it's not the same when someone that went through the program can also talk about it because it feels different, of course. So this is maybe when we talk about it as part of the team is this sounds too good to be true, but that's why we do this kind of conversations for people to be able to hear it from you guys that went through the 20 weeks of program and presented on demo day and can talk about it in a different way. So thank you for your time. um, Before ending this live, again, you can access the application in www.parallel18.com. You have until April 30 to apply. If you have any doubts, any questions, you can send us an email at info@or at parallel18.com or throughout our social media platforms, parallel18.com. And stay tuned to our social media platforms because during the week we're going to be doing an applicathon where we connect with you We give you 15 minutes to clarify any specific questions about your application. So we're gonna be sharing again that information during the day for you to reserve your spot. So again, thank you, Nina. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you, Henry, for your time. Thank you. If you wanna mention again your social media channels for people to be able to follow you or contact you in any way, you can do that now if you want.
If you want to follow me, it would be on LinkedIn. It would be Nina Rodriguez Quiros, and then if you want to follow Buzzy, it would be Buzzy at Buzzy Inc. in Instagram.
Awesome.
And for me, my company is Pathbooks. If you are a teacher or if you're working with schools, just call me or add me to LinkedIn, like Jorge Caballero Pathbooks. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Henry Keenan on LinkedIn, and just Google Red Atlas, and that's the company.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure to put the information on the comments so you can able to easy access your pages or the LinkedIn profiles. So thank you again. Take care. And we are always here to help you in any way possible. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys, and take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Estamos ya. Ah.